Hi girlies, Alicia here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we need to talk. We need to talk about centering our lives around men and obsessing over them and going on the emotional roller coaster when they start acting a certain way. But before we get into it, please make sure to hit that subscribe button so that you never miss another video from me, moi, from the Glow Up Secrets. And also, this shirt, I'm loving it. It's from Zara, but I think it might be washing me out a little bit, but we're just gonna go with it. Like, we're not gonna obsess, right? This is the whole topic of obsessing over men. We're not gonna do it. So this is gonna be just like a little sit down and chat. I don't even really necessarily know where I'm taking this video. I made a podcast episode about this already. It'll already be out. Maybe. Actually, I don't know. Who knows? But I talked about this in my podcast episode, and I made a few videos on my TikTok about, well, one that I posted last night, and it was stop obsessing over him when he's not obsessing over you. And this is not gonna be a video about just like think you're the baddest bee and just like love yourself and just look hot and like go out and like show off and this, that. Like, of course, if that's what you need to do to like get over somebody, amazing. But I want to talk about why you shouldn't obsess over somebody, like especially a man. We're going to talk about it like from a woman's perspective, why it's like just like why you shouldn't be obsessing over men and centering yourself around men. This is why. It takes you on such an emotional roller coaster when you do this. And what I mean by obsessing is more about somebody who is acting a certain type of way. So maybe somebody ghosted you, maybe somebody left you unread, maybe somebody's not getting back to you, maybe something in the energy has switched with them, or you're just perceiving them to be a certain way and you're just like having all of these stories in your head, whatever it is, good or bad. But we're gonna kind of lean towards the kind of the bad, like maybe they ghosted or whatever. And I'm only doing this because like recently this happened to me, and it's happened definitely times before, but let's kind of like talk about that. The emotional roller coaster that you allow yourself, honestly, allow your inner child to go on is not helpful, and it's not as safe as your inner child thinks it's safe to do so. Like, when you decide to allow your mind to go in spirals of like what you did wrong to make this person step away, or like what they're doing, trying to make excuses for their behavior, just constantly thinking and surrounding your whole mindset around this person, what they're doing, and like if they're coming back and this, that, it takes you on such an emotional roller coaster that does nothing but make you perceive that you are being safe and you're not. The more that you're on this emotional roller coaster of just obsessing and thinking and centering your whole existence around what this person is thinking or doing, all it really does is take so much energy, mentally and physically, out of your life. And I want you to just realize, and this is a note to myself as well, this person is not only probably not spending this much energy thinking about you, but you don't even know if this person is worthy of that much energy. And to be honest, nobody is. And if they are, they wouldn't make you be expending so much energy thinking about them in the first place. Like, if this guy or if this person was actually meant for you, you wouldn't be left in this state of worrying and constantly having to think. Like, you wouldn't. So I think it's really important to just remind yourself, like when you're going into this spiral, like, this person is probably not thinking about me. It's kind of harsh to think about that, but it's like true. Like, you need to step up for your own self as an adult. Like, you don't even deserve to spend that much energy on somebody else who's not thinking about you. But also, if that person was meant for you, you wouldn't be on this, like, you wouldn't be taken on this emotional roller coaster. But let's talk about this emotional roller coaster, because really and truly, who is stepping onto this emotional roller coaster is not necessarily you, it's your inner child. And It's important to make that distinction because then you actually can take more power over your life. When you catch yourself going onto that emotional roller coaster, you can step in as a big sister, as a mother, whatever kind of figure that you want, and be like, and tell your inner child, like, you think this is safe right now to go on this emotional roller coaster, but it's not. So we're not gonna go there. And I know you feel like it's something that you should go on right now. It feels safe, it feels comfortable. It's not safe. And not only are you telling your inner child we're not going on this emotional roller coaster, but also that it's safe to go somewhere else, and I'm gonna be there with you leading the way. I think that where our inner child kind of gets scared is like, well, if I don't go on this emotional roller coaster and overthink and ruminate, I'm not safe anywhere else. Like, I'm not safe in the unknown. I'm not safe not knowing if this person is gonna come back or not. Like, I'm not safe in my own space. And I think it takes a lot of time for you to be able to reiterate that and tell your inner child like it is safe and show that. But I think the first step is like stepping in as that adult figure and being like, we're not gonna go here because it is not as safe as you think it is, and maybe you don't think right now your life is safe, but it is, and trying to find ways in which you can show your inner child that your life is safe. So let's say for me, when I realize that I'm going on this emotional roller coaster, I have to literally tell myself, my inner child, like, hey, first of all, if this person was meant for you, they wouldn't be even making you think you need to go on this emotional roller coaster. That's one. You have so much value. You're so beautiful. You bring so much to the table. You haven't done anything wrong. You know damn well that men, if they are acting a certain way, usually it doesn't have to do with you. It has to do with whatever they're dealing with. And that's great, but you do not need to rationalize that. If this person is for you, they're gonna be for you. It's very simple to say out loud, but like that is really the truth at the end of the day. Like if somebody's for you, they're gonna be for you. Another thing is like you have a lot of things outside of a man that you can focus on. Like for me personally, of course, it's like my podcast and YouTube and things like that. But maybe for you, it's some other hobby, something that you actually enjoy. Maybe it's going out with your friends. Maybe it's painting. Maybe it's doing yoga. Maybe it's like literally just trying to learn more about yourself and your identity as a woman. Maybe that's where you're at right now. Whatever those things are, you need to put your focus into those things. And again, you might not want to, right? Your inner child might be like thinking like, well, that's not as fun as going on the roller coaster. And like, I don't want to go on that. Like, or like, I don't want to spend my time doing that. But I want you to try the best that you can to put your focus in the things that you have started or that you actually do on a day-to-day, or like maybe even inconsistently, and to show and remind your inner child, like, these things are safe. They might not feel the most fun right now, but they will once you stop having so much attachment to being on that emotional roller coaster. And again, showing your inner child like it's actually not safe. I even said this in the podcast episode, like it's like when you want to go on a ride but you're not tall enough, but like when you're a child you don't understand that like you're not tall enough and that wouldn't be safe. You need somebody else in your life to tell you like, listen, this is not going to be safe and we can do this thing and it's going to be so much more fun. And you might not be convinced right then that it's that fun, but once you actually go and immerse yourself in that thing, you completely forget about that emotional roller coaster. So what are some things that you can do to kind of completely forget about that emotional roller coaster? And I think a lot of it is just things that you have potentially maybe stepped away from doing, which is okay, but like let's get back to those things. I think this is so important, not only for your self-perception as an adult, but also for your inner child. And I think that the more that you spend just obsessing and being on this emotional roller coaster of like, when is he gonna text? Is he gonna come back? Is he not? Did he ghost? Why did he ghost? This, that, and the third. It's just so unproductive, and it's really taking you away from somebody who is going to be for you. And that's something that I have to remind myself as well, is like the man of my dreams, or the man that I know that I'm gonna feel safe with, is not gonna make me feel like that, but also I'm not gonna be able to get to him if I'm on this roller coaster, this very unsafe roller coaster. And so here's some current things that I just did to kind of get myself off of it, is literally when I felt like my inner child was bringing me on. And this is how it will show up in your life, is like literally a thought in your head comes in and being like, when is he going to text me, or like what did I do, and you're trying to figure out like how it happened or when he switched his mindset and like whatever the case is. Like when those thoughts start to come in your head, your inner child is like speaking up and being like, hello, I want to go on the roller coaster. When that happens, I literally say out loud, no, I don't have to go on there. I can if I want to, but I don't need to. It's not helpful. I don't need to go on that. And it actually is really helpful just to say it out loud. Like, I don't need to go on this emotional roller coaster. I think my inner child, not even my inner child thinks that I need to go on this, but I don't. Saying that out loud is like the first step that's like really helped me like through it, because you're gonna have thoughts come up all day. You don't need to go on it. You don't need to do it. Second thing, honestly, is just like really immersing yourself in something that you're like obsessed with, like I've already said before. But like for me personally right now is like learning about femininity and just like being a high value woman, and just being honestly around and listening to women in this space that are potentially going through the same thing that I'm going through, and or have gone through it in the past. So like I go on YouTube and I listen to women who have been in the same situation, like I just said, to kind of like get my mind just like strong again. And I think that like there's a girl, her name is Haley Gamba, or Gambia, I'm not really too sure. And there's a lot of other women online. You could just like type in like whatever interest that you're in, and start to listen to them. And maybe it's me, right? And like it's just having some like words of wisdom and affirmation and just like acknowledgement, like, hey, you're not alone, but also don't forget your worth, and that you can get through this, and you are strong enough, and like you have value, and you might be you've been on this roller coaster, but you don't need to be on that anymore. I think that's so huge, is like being around that feminine energy of just like nurturing and loving and healing, because that's what you need right now. Like there's a part of you that feels sad, that feels like you need to obsess over this person, and you don't actually need to do that. And I think the last thing, I know everyone always says it, but like you have to give yourself time and to not get upset about at yourself when you have that little child come back in your head and being like, I want to go on this emotional roller coaster. And if you decide to allow it to go on for a bit, like don't get mad at yourself at the end of the day. Like even if you're a woman and somebody like me, right? Like it's quite vulnerable for me to be like, hey, like I've been on this emotional roller coaster even when I show up like this. You're normal, you're a human being, you have feelings, and you want to be seen, and you want to be loved, and you want to be heard, and all of these things. So just give yourself grace when you are going through this. And I think if you can step outside of yourself and just like see the process of you going through this, I think it's such a beautiful acknowledgement to yourself from your higher self that like, hey, like I'm going on this thing right now and I'm going through all of the emotions, and how beautiful it is to be on this journey. And you'll learn a lot from it, and you might, who knows, maybe you'll have a daughter or maybe a sister or somebody in your life that you can then help through once you go through this. Yeah, I just think that being a woman and going through emotions and dating and all of this kind of stuff, it can definitely take a toll on us, but try not to be down on yourself, and try not to lose faith and hope that things won't get better, because they absolutely will. And yeah, that's basically all I have to say for today's video. If you want to watch more of my videos about masculine energy, feminine energy, and just loving yourself, all the links will be down. Again, just subscribe to my channel and you'll see all my videos. And listen to the podcast if you'd like. If you're just driving and you need some just really good words of wisdom or advice, then I have a lot of inner child talk and healing and self-love and all of that on my podcast as well. Everything, even TikTok and Instagram, is The Glow Up Secrets. And yeah, without further ado, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. I love you and have a great day.